This is the exploration video of my sequential bind generator program. In this video, I'm going to go into a bit more detail about how I set up the program. So, just to review what this part of my program does. I have a series of I have a series of text files that have multiple lines of text in them. I want to take each line of text and generate a bind file that will include the command, if it's a chat bind, what channel the bind will generate in, and a command to load the next file in sequence. So as you can see, this one generates 14 binds from this file. So, as you can see, I'm working with VS Code. I've kind of grown to like that particular editor recently. I like the layout. I like some of its shortcuts. I like its extensibility. Right now, the program is made up of two functions. One is bind maker. The other one is main. Uses the random. Actually, it doesn't use random in this. That's right, because I was using that because I was going to do something different later on. As of right now, it only really uses the OS module. I declare 4 variables at the top of the file. Con debug, it's a boolean. Control, this is the button that will be pressed. Because the way the game works, it's just a string. In this case, F10 and a space. What channel it would be in if it's a chat. The command for it to be a chat has to start with a double quote. So that's why I've got the escape double quote here. And then L is local for the channel in the game. And then a slash. Okay. So my main function creates an empty list called file list. And then asks, how many files are you going to be working with today? Okay. Then initializes a an integer named count of 1. And then I just use a while loop to check the value of count against the number that was input for list count. And I ask, please enter the name of this bind set. So that's going to be the name of the folder that all the bind files are put in for that iteration, of course. And then file name is input asking what is the name of the text file you're going to use. So stupid. So, transformers, please enter the name of the bind set. I name it transformers. And I'm going to use transformers.txt. Okay. And then I create a 2-item list that is made up of the name and file name. And then I append entry to file list. So this while loop just creates or populates file list based on what the user set tells it. Okay. Once that finishes, we go into a for loop where for each bind or item in that file list, remember? Okay. We're going to set bind path to a file path with the name of that bind or that item. So that way it knows what to name the folder. Then it checks to see, oops, I don't want to change my code. Then it's going to check and see if that path exists. If it does exist, hey, that directory already exists. If it does not, create the path. Oh, almost forgot. This if conditional statement is just for troubleshooting. The con debug, I can change that to false. If I can type, of course. In which case, it won't print these statements. So it makes the directory, and then it calls the bind maker function and passes it bind and bind path. Okay, so the bind maker function, as you can see, I've got it defined here. Let me close this one because we don't need to look at that. Okay, so initialize increment 1, or increment 2, excuse me. And then we're going to open each text file for each item in this file list that I made before. So open the text file as a read-only, open it as F, then read each line. Create a new output file name that is the bind path plus 0 plus increment and make it a text file. And then declare the next file to be bind path plus 0 plus the value of increment plus 1. So it'll be one more than the current file. And then make that a text file. Strip out the new carriage return in each line. Assign that to E. And then add the control channel to that. Basically, this is where the actual command will be 90% made. Okay. And then we create out file, which is going to be the name of the file that we're actually going to make. Okay. And then line is E, which is defined up here, plus the command to load the next file, and what the name of the next file is going to be. Okay. And then we just write that to the file, increment by 1. Oh, and I still have these in these print lines, even though I don't need them anymore. So, yeah, let me go ahead and take these out real quick because I don't need those anymore. Do I still have those up here? No, I don't. Okay, good. Okay. So, just as a demonstration of what this is, let me erase the files over here real quick. Okay, and then we're going to run this as a Python file. Okay, how many files do I want to build? I want to build 8. Enter the name for the first set. Transformers.txt. Scooby-Doo. We do.txt. Movie quotes. I haven't built this yet to deal with spaces, so I have to be very careful about what I'm typing in. Rail Rock. .txt. British tar. TXT. Another one bites the dust.txt. Okay, so I've entered in all of the names, and I hope I typed them correctly. And then we initiate it. And you see it created the files as folders and then the files. So there we go. That completes my more in-depth exploration of the current update for this project. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned.